what rings true. So, I'm going to be talking today about writing your life chart and how we can change it. So, you don't have to believe anything I say. This is my knowledge from years of going to trance classes and also guiding clients, hypnosis clients, to the other side and having them talk about their spirit guides and their life chart and Akashic records and um, screening. You can go to an area and view your life so far, and you can check and go backwards, go forwards, whatever, to see what happened in your life to understand things that happened. So, today I want to talk about writing your chart. So, there's a place called the Hall of Charts, which is where you go to write your life chart. You made decisions for your life, all your ups and downs. You don't write every little thing. I'm going to blink here. I'm going to fall off my bike. Unless falling off your bike had some experience that you needed to have, like you wanted to break your arm sometime in that life, or you were going to wreck your bike and you were in a poor family and you weren't going to get a bike again. So, if it was going to be an experience that you wanted to have to see what it feels like, to know how you would respond, then you would write it in your chart. But many things in life are just opportunities or they just happen because you're on earth. So, you do choose the major players in your life. Who's going to be the mom? Who's going to be the dad? Who's going to be the brother or sister or no siblings? And people need to agree on the major roles of your life, like actors in a play. So you write the big things you want to experience on your life chart. Maybe get married or not get married. Maybe get married 5 times. Maybe have a friend betray you. You can even play out the outcomes on a screen, like a television or a movie, and change things and tweak things to get the response you want. So maybe you want to experience going bankrupt. Then you choose in life how you're going to react. But you can also play out the probabilities in a movie or like a TV show. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to go bankrupt and this is my family and this is my job, this is the place I'm living, this is the town I'm living in. Maybe after you play the probable outcomes, then you want to change something. You want to change where you live. You want to change someone in your life. You want to bring in another friend. So, if you're going to experience going bankrupt, you have many possibilities of the way you're going to react. Will you go to a relative's house and become a hermit? Will you start your own company afterwards? Will you go work at McDonald's and complain the rest of your life about going bankrupt? We have so many possible paths we can take. And because of that decision, then that can affect the rest of your life. So that's why we do the probabilities. This is a high probability. Okay, if I tweak something, will I get another probable outcome? So we spend years in our time on the other side writing our life chart because there's so many possibilities of paths we can take. So you've already agreed upon who's going to be your mom, who's going to be your dad, who's going to be your brother, who's going to be your sister, who's going to be your best friend. That's already agreed upon. And maybe you want to add someone to the mix or renegotiate who's going to be your parent and try to get the best possible outcome for the major experiences you want in your life. During your life, you're presented with opportunities that aren't in your chart. Like maybe a friend needs help and you take the opportunity to help, or maybe you turn away, or maybe you ignore the whole thing, or maybe you just send a card, whatever it is. And all of those things affect other things in your life. Well, not dramatically, but sometimes dramatically. So we have 7 essential areas in our life. You have your health, family, career, finances, love life, social life, and spirituality. So when we write in our experiences we want to have, we consider those areas. So we might work on health, and then we work on family, and then we work on love life, whatever. But you have at least one area that's an option line. So for me, my option line was love life, not written in. I did not write that part into my life. But because it's not written in, then I can write it in as I go through life, which is what I did. I sat down, I took a piece of paper, and I wrote down all the things I did not want. And then I looked at that and wrote the things I wanted. So I wrote down hates animals. So, of course, they would like animals. Hates children. So they would like children. So I chose the things I didn't want. And then I knew I wanted the opposite of that in the person. So I wrote down all the things I wanted. And then I activated, which means I actually went out into public and that person came to me. Prior to writing that out, then it's come what may. I have my psychic friend, Sylvia Brown, told me that I would meet this blonde guy with blue eyes. He would treat me nicely, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't meet him. Then Francine, her spirit guide during trance class, I asked, when am I going to meet my partner in life? And she told me I was going to meet a guy with dark brown hair and a mustache from Canada. I didn't meet him. Well, one reason I didn't meet him is because I didn't activate. I was working at a school at that time. So there were children from like age 5 to age 12. And that's mainly who I saw. None of those were going to be in my dating pool. So if you go home, go to work, go home, go to work, go home, go to work, you're not activating. So I didn't meet the blonde guy. I didn't meet the guy from Canada. So when I finally decided, okay, I want someone to come into my life. So I wrote it down. What do I want in my life partner? And that person came into my life because I wrote it down and I sent it out to the universe. And then I put that letter in my drawer and just let the universe take care of it. And they did, or it did. So you have at least one option line. I have a friend whose option line is finances, and she's always having trouble with money. And she knows she can write it in. She knows she can sit down and say, okay, how much income am I going to have? And, all the aspects of finances. I would put as much money, I would do perfect wealth, which is enough money to pay all your bills, enough money to give to others, enough money to have fun, enough money to go on vacations. And I would work around that. But she hasn't written it in. So she's still having trouble with her finances. Because if it's not written in, it's come what may. So most people have one option line, that one essential area you don't write in, or you barely write it in. So that area is up for grabs during your lifetime. So my friend Sylvia Brown's life option line was family. So her family was always like off the wall, not off the wall, but her family was not what she wanted it to be, was not as cohesive as she wanted it to be. However, if you have the option line of family, you can't control everyone. You can't write down, oh, my children are going to always come to Thanksgiving dinner and they're going to come to Christmas dinner and not going to argue about politics. That's not going to happen. So a lot of times family is just, it's more important to you, the outcome of what happens in your family, but you can't control it. So it's sort of like a catch 22. You can't be in charge of everyone else, but it's important to you what's happening in your family. So if your option line is career, then that's the part that messes you up in life unless you write it in. If your option line is finances, that's the part that messes you up in life unless you write it in. So think about what area in your life is always going awry. And then assume that's your option line. Sit down and write what you want. If your option line is something else, it's probably going okay. You might have more than one option line. I have a friend who has 3 option lines, 3 areas she did not write in or barely wrote in. So one of them was family, and she decided she wanted to have a child, so she wrote it in. And then if it's not already written in, you can write in, I want a kid with curly hair and I want him to grow up to be tall. So then someone on the other side who wants to have curly hair and wants to be tall and would fit in with your life, and their chart could go mesh with your life, they will sign up to be with you. So you write in that area as you go. However, remember, whatever you write in, you need to activate. You can't be like me and not ever go outside. Just go home, go to work, go home, go to work. That doesn't help to fix your option line. So, as I said, most people have one option line. And the areas again are health, family, career, social life, love life, finances, spirituality. So, the area in your life that falls apart, not everyone's falls apart, but the area in life that's likely to fall apart is going to be the area that's your option line. And you can sit down and write it in. If you don't write it in, there was an actress called Elizabeth Taylor, who was very famous. And her option line was health. So anything that came along, she got it. So she was near death more than once. She had trouble with her health all of her life. If you have trouble with your health, you may have written in, I want to experience having MS. I want to experience having cerebral palsy, whatever it is. That big thing stays because you wrote it in concrete. I'm going to experience this. However, it can be softened. There's a famous healer called Donna Eden, and she created a healing method called energy medicine. However, when she was younger, she had MS that was just horrendous. She was having trouble like functioning. And she decided she was going to do something about her health. And so she researched and she tried different things. And the symptoms of MS are like gone for her. So you can soften an illness. Another person, a minister friend, Kathy, had, I don't know if it was MS or muscular dystrophy, whatever it was. She was in a lot of pain and was using a wheelchair. And at the end of her life, she would just be outside of her body and do the best she could to have a positive attitude. You know, my favorite person that I like to talk about option lines and changing your life is Stephen Hawking, the physicist who got ALS in his 20s and for 50 something years lived with ALS. Well, most people die immediately, you know, like within a couple of years with ALS. But he had stuff he wanted to do. So he stuck around and he did what he wanted to do. He researched, he lectured, and that was his choice. You have opportunities in your chart. Even if you write in something like ALS, then you have an opportunity to work around it, to work through it, to work in a lateral motion and change what you can about what you wrote in. The probabilities of how you will react, you've already experienced on the other side. The most probable thing that you would do, you've already gone through when you wrote your chart and experienced, okay, if I do this, so maybe Stephen Hawking's, if I become a physicist and I have ALS, do I want to continue life or do I want to exit then? If I continue life, what can I do to have a life that's good for me? And you play out those probabilities. Now, not everything's going to be your highest probability that you planned on the other side. So in the Hall of Charts, you go through the most probable things that you will do, the most probable ways you will react to the big life lessons you wrote down. So if you think one of the areas of your life is an option line you have not written in, it falls apart, it affects all the rest of your life, then sit down and write in what you want. So you are here to accomplish what? Everybody has a theme. Mine is responsibility and humanitarian. So that's like the glasses that I see life through. I see life through being responsible. So I have to make sure that I'm not trying to be responsible for everyone and everything. Because often in my earlier life, I would try to be responsible for everything. I'll volunteer for everything, which makes you rather tired and you can't be good at anything because you're not taking care of yourself. Humanitarian means, I was not only being responsible, but I want to make sure everyone was taken care of. So make sure you're not letting other people take over your life. You need to make decisions for you and what's best for you. And you don't always have to do something just because someone wants you to do something. You have your own path to follow. I've talked about this before. My cousin was a pilot during, must have been World War II, or maybe it was Korea. No, it must have been World War II, because one of the airfields that he worked at was in my hometown, and that was World War II. Before my time, but that's okay. Anyway, he wanted to be a pilot all of his life, but his parents wanted him to become a lawyer or a teacher. So he became a teacher. Did he want to do that? No, he wanted to stay being a pilot. But he followed the path someone else wanted him to follow. So on the other side, I'm sure he wrote down, okay, or explored the possibilities. Okay, if I'm a pilot, this is the way my life is going to go. If I make a different decision and become the teacher or the lawyer, this is how my life will go. Not that he had a horrible life, but it wasn't really what he wanted to do. So on the other side, you're meeting with friends, family, strangers, and deciding the roles everybody's going to play. You meet with others or you sit by yourself and decide things. You also meet with God's messengers like Jesus. You meet with the council of elders. You meet with your spirit guide. You've agreed that this person is going to guide you in life. And the spirit guide is like a GPS. They know your chart and they know, okay, You want to become a teacher, but you're going to move to Illinois first. So they and the angels put possibilities in front of you to allow you to go to Illinois. And then they put possibilities in life so that you can apply for a job in the area you want. Now, we don't always follow those possibilities. So sometimes it takes a while and you're behind times in your chart, and that's okay. They'll keep GPSing. You know how nice I like GPS, because my GPS on my phone will say, turn right at the next light. And then I'm in the wrong lane and I can't turn right. But then it politely says, go to the next street and make a right hand turn, or make a left hand turn and go around the block. So it just kindly gets you back on track. And that's what your spirit guide does, kindly gets you back on track for your chart. Okay. So the Hall of Charts is where you write your chart. You can, in this life, while you're incarnate, you can, through hypnosis or meditation, go to the Hall of Charts, or you can go to the Temple of Spirit Guides to see your chart. Now, you can see it, but you're not likely to be able to see anything beyond the present because you haven't decided what you want to do. And they don't want to color your decisions, because if you're told exactly what you're going to do, why did you come in the first place? So the idea is that you keep experiencing, decide for yourself how you're going to react to life, and then you go on. All right. Nikki says her option line is love. I hope you wrote it in. Oh, why is this video blinking at me? It's probably my connection, maybe, that's blinking. It's probably the internet connection. So what else? When you write in your option line, you just sit down and write it and then tell the universe this is what you want. You can tell the Mother Goddess, but she's the one you would address if you want to change something in your chart. Now, sometimes you're allowed to change things in your chart, and sometimes you've said, I don't want anything changed in this section. Like, I want to have MS. Don't take that away from me. Or I want to experience going to the hospital. Don't take that away from me. So I don't know why it's still blinking for some people. Sorry. It's probably the internet connection. Okay. So someone is saying, loving the information, great videos, God bless. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great day too. Okay. Themes, loner, humanitarian. That's a hard one. I believe that was Sylvia Brown's choices too, loner and humanitarian. Okay. So you have the option to change something. If you're going through an experience right now, you can ask, maybe you're having trouble with a boss. You can think of ways to work with that boss, think of ways to soften how they treat you, write a universe letter saying, hey, Joe Schmo, my boss, I want you to treat me with respect. I deserve to be treated with respect. I am a worthy person. I'm a child of God. Treat me politely or don't talk to me. And that's a universe letter. You address it to the person. You can also write a letter to the hosts of heaven or to the universe. You never mail these letters. Universe letters you just keep. I can see mine blinking now too. I don't know why it's blinking. Probably internet connection. Okay. So I lost my train of thought. You can change things in your chart by asking specifically. You could say, Mother Goddess. I believe it's a duality, a mother god and a father god. And I believe the mother god's name is Asna. You don't have to believe that. I believe that. And I've talked to her often and she helps me. So, and you can believe it's Father God talking to me. That's fine too. So you address the mother goddess and you can have lateral movement. I know miracles have happened in some cases. I know a child was supposed to die at the age of 7 for a friend of mine. And she petitioned the mother goddess. And of course, the child's higher self needed to agree, his soul needed to agree that he not die. And he didn't die. So you can pray, you can petition to have things change in your chart, unless it's written in, don't change this. Now, I have a relative at an exit point right now, and they're not taking the exit point. My friend Sylvia's dad was in an exit point, and he stayed for 17 more years. So that's a soul's choice. Your soul decides when to exit this life. In your chart, you write 5 exit points. Maybe you were sick when you were a baby. That could be an exit point. Maybe you were in a bad accident. Maybe that's an exit point. Maybe you had a temperature of 106. Maybe that was an exit point. So you have opportunities you write into your life chart of 5 exit points. Now, be good to yourself. Don't beat yourself up for what's happening in your life or how you react. I know I have a couple of things where the way I reacted, I would not react that way again. I was dealing with a really mean set of parents who would call and cuss me out, leave messages cussing me out. And the child was awful, kicked people, hurt people, stole things, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, having a meeting with a parent and some of the relatives, I would have chosen a different path. I think a different path would have been the wiser path than the way I reacted at that meeting. As I let her slide and stay at the school instead of requesting that she be sent to a different school. So, choices. Now, I replayed that and decided how I would reframe it and do it a different way. And my mentor, Francine, a spirit guide, would say, I get the brownie button for that. I get the award for, okay, this is the way that it should have gone. And I chose this way. So your life experiences change what's happening in your life. Now, the Hall of Charts is on the other side, and you can go visit it. It's a pink marble building, but it's open on all sides, so you can enter from any side. There's giant entrance columns in the official entrance, and there's a large hall surrounded by trees and animals, and there's lots of seats and benches. At the entrance, there's a waterfall, and that flows into a fountain. And that's where you make the decisions for your life. So it's a soothing place, the waterfall and the animals and trees. It's a soothing place. So you can sit down and think about, okay, if I do this, then what else could happen in this life? So you sit down with your family and friends by yourself. You sit down with some strangers if you want and include them in your life for major things that are going to happen. And everyone is an actor in your play. And you get to play it out on the movie screen of what's likely to happen. Okay, and if I tweak this, if I bring in another friend, then what's going to happen? What could happen? What's likely to happen? And you try and gear it so that you have the outcome you want for each big experience. So you have the Hall of Charts that you can visit through hypnosis or meditation. You can also go to the Temple of Spirit Guides to see your chart. There's like a blue line. It's like, I'm on track, I'm on track, I'm on track. Oh, here's where I didn't get to Illinois because I got sidetracked in Kentucky with this guy I thought I was going to marry, but didn't marry him. So you can get sidetracked. So you can see, am I on the path I want to be on, or I'm a little bit off? And remember, that's why your spirit guide is there, because they're keeping you on the straight and narrow, trying to get you to stay on the path that you chose and have the experiences that you wanted. And the angels help to bring those experiences to you, bring the opportunities to you to have the life that you chose, the experiences that you chose. Now, since for most people, this is their last life. So most of you put in lots and lots of experiences for extra credit. You don't have to have all those difficult things happen in your life. Some people are here on a rest life, or maybe they came as a companion to somebody. My friend Rita came into life. She had an option life. She didn't have to come into this life. She wasn't scheduled to come in. But because a friend had committed suicide in a previous life, she came in as moral support in this life. Yes, I believe in past lives. No, I didn't used to believe in past lives. But being a hypnotist, I take so many people to so many past lives, and they've been able to validate those lives, go out and find that name on Google, find those people that they lived with, find the house that they were talking about. Anyway, chart. You write your chart. You choose at least one option line that you write in, or not, that you write in a little tiny bit, or you don't write it in at all. And you might have more than one option line, but everybody has one option line at least. And then you write in the big experiences for the essential areas. And the essential areas, again, are health, family, career, social life, love, finances, spirituality. So, which one of those gives you the most problems? Which one of those falls apart? That's the one you need to write in. Sit down and think about it. What do you want to write in? You can also ask in meditation what your option line is. You can ask during hypnosis. You can ask a channel. I'm a channel. You can ask me. Let me see. So, and everything filters through your life theme, whatever that is. And you chose, I know if you're listening to me, you chose a more difficult path than other people because you want to get the most points, the most experiences to share with our Father God, which is why we were created. We were created as experiencers so that He could experience different things. And He knows everything, but He hasn't experienced everything. And you have a different nuance than somebody else with the same themes and the same experience. So, thank you for choosing to come into life and to be in my circle. And remember, when you go to sleep tonight, you can ask to go visit the Hall of Charts and remember. You can do it in meditation. You can do it during hypnosis. And just look for the pink marble building. You don't have to see it. You can sense it or know it or feel that you're there. Do it when you're asleep and just ask to remember. But just know, you don't have to visit it, but you may just know that you wrote a life chart with all those ups and downs. Hopefully not too many ups and downs, because I think we're on this perfect place in heaven. You feel wonderful. You're feeling God's love all the time. And you wrote all the, oh yeah, I'll sign up to that. Oh, you want somebody to betray you? I'll do that. You want somebody to bring up your expectation of not feeling worthy? I'll do that. And then sometimes you get into life and you go, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And you beat yourself up, but you wrote in that's what you were going to do to help somebody. Or you're having an awful time, like you went bankrupt. Well, okay, you went bankrupt, so you went bankrupt. Okay, how can you move forward from that point in time? If it's something to do with, say, finances, is that possibly your option line? Do I need to write it in? There are many things to think about your life chart. Now, you didn't write in, I'm going to blink 3 times right now. You don't write in all the small stuff, but you do have many opportunities to get more brownie points that are presented to you. Many opportunities. And remember, you're responsible for your reactions. You can be the guy who goes bankrupt and becomes a hermit. You can go work at McDonald's, or you can start your own company or do something else. There's lots and lots of possibilities. Don't assume there's only one way to react to life. There's lots of ways. And don't go it alone. Talk to your spirit guide. Talk to your angels. Talk to your loved ones on earth. Talk to a friend. Talk to Jesus. Talk to Muhammad. Talk to the messengers. Or visit them in hypnosis and meditation. So, Hall of Charts. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Bye.